Hi Art200, thanks for joining in with me as I embark on my quest in the form of this investigative video. This is our last time we all get to discuss art together. We are going to talk about some art pieces and how they reflect female empowerment in our society. When we were first presented with our investigative project, I thought it would be pretty hard to narrow my brain down to one specific piece and to analyze it. I really liked that we were able to pick anything of our choosing, but when you have that much choice, you find yourself wandering aimlessly in search for direction. Since I was having such a tough time thinking of something to pick, I turned to my family and friends for guidance. My aunt had informed me that recently there was a bronze sculpture of a girl erected on Wall Street, directly in front of the Sitting Bull. She was Fearless Girl. When I first looked her up and saw her, I knew right away that this would be a fun piece to tackle. This statue was sculpted beautifully and carefully by the one and only Kristen Bisbal. The Fearless Girl was installed on March 7th in this year 2017, the eve of International Women's Day. She resides in Bowling Green in the financial district of Manhattan, New York. She was placed there by an investment firm known as the State Street Global Advisors. They had the statue commissioned by the artist to basically pay ode to their gender-diverse company and having more women executives on their boards. This has turned into quite the controversial issue, to be quite honest. People have come to think that this statue was erected for nothing but the political gain of a big Titan investment company, and nothing more. I, however, believe that to be untrue. I want to prove that my piece was aimed to do more than just become another big corporation advertisement. She means more than that to me, and to the people of this country. As I study the statue, which is not an assemblage, I see that her stance is key to her demeanor and attitude in this piece. She is there, looking at you in such a bold-faced way, as if she isn't afraid of anything or anyone. The architecture in her face is so smooth. Her cheekbones are rounded out symmetrically. Her body and face is constructed proportionally, indicating the piece carries a good balance to it. The girl looks up towards the sky, in the hopes for all the success and happiness she craves and deserves. When I look at her attire, I notice the flowing dress. It's been modeled in such a way that the wind appears to be hitting against her, making it fly back. I like to think the wind might be the problems she is facing that are trying to push her down, such as a hostile workplace, sexual harassment, not being treated equally, and demeaning people in her life. These are all problems that the women of our current society today are facing. The girl appears to be somewhat sad, but I think she's just being more serious. The composition of my piece flows very well also. She was constructed using the lost wax method, a sculptural method in which a cast is made from a wax model by coating the model with an investment material that can be heated to high temperatures. The wax melts away, leaving a negative mold of the model into which molten metal is poured or clay is pressed, creating a hollow duplicate of the original waxwork. Now, an article from the ChicagoTribune.com titled "The Fearless Girl Statue, Harvey Weinstein and Faux Feminism." Author Sarah Bennett Weiser talks about the Fearless Girl and how it relates to modern-day feminism. She initially talks about how the company that is responsible for the statue, the Straight Geek Corporation, and how they promote women in the workplace by placing her there. Quote, her defiance was aimed at financial culture's historical exclusion of women in the financial industry, especially in leadership positions, end quote. She then goes on to associate the statue specifically with the sanitized version of feminism, closing out her discussion with bringing up what she thinks the Fearless Girl distracts us from, quote, popular feminism might dispense a vision of progress, but don't let it distract from the structural gendered violence that persists unabated in so many aspects of American society. I think that Sarah's article provides us with a good insight on the piece, and she helps us open up our brains to the more real-world side of the sculpture, and also what she and others think the girl symbolizes in this modern society. Let's talk a little bit about the history of bronze sculpture and what bronze is. In an article written by James Draper for the Metropolitan Museum of Art, I think he touches on the subject well, saying, a durable material, bronze, can receive various patinations, such as gilding. It was used for the casting of artillery and utilitarian objects, such as mortars. But in the 15th century, it became increasingly into use for the casting of sculpture. Many European cities had bronze foundries, but Florence saw the first true flowering of bronze sculpture. Now these days, bronze has become much more of a commodity than it used to be. According to a study titled Matisse to Picasso, a compositional study of modern bronze sculptures, they surveyed a variety of modern bronze sculptures from the Art Institute of Chicago and the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Upon lots of research of the pieces, they concluded that the sculptures in the study consist of predominantly copper with two main alloying elements, zinc and tin. By plotting the concentrations of these two elements against each other for all the sculptures studied, three clusters of data became apparent. A. High zinc brass, B. Low zinc brass, and C. Tin bronze. These clusters correlate to a specific foundries which use specific casting methods, sand or lost wax, that were influenced by individual preferences and technical skills of the foundry masters. So from this we learn that much of the bronze we see these days is mainly a brass that is infused with two alloying elements, zinc and tin. This gives us an insight on how different types of bronze came to use in the art society and how they can trace the object's origin and approximate age from studying the composure of the bronze. Something I also thought to be of interest and concern to the piece is that the plaque that was placed below the girl. The plaque read, Know the power of women in leadership. She makes a difference. I think that statement is a very nice compliment to the piece. It tells me that the piece was not just crafted for the purpose of it to be a complete and utter advertisement. I think it gives the statue more meaning, fulfillment, and a purpose. She is shown in a strong and powerful stance, ready to conquer whatever is thrown her way. She is speaking to the strong, capable women of our country, and her message is that they can accomplish anything they set their mind to. Although the plaque has been replaced since then, for possibly a multitude of reasons. On April 12th of this year, a new plaque has been posted in the ground near the statue, which states, "Fearless Girl was placed in New York City's financial district in honor of International Women's Day 2017, to celebrate the importance of having greater gender diversity in corporate boards and in company leadership positions. She also stands as an inspiration for the next generation of women leaders, presented by the New York City Department of Transportation Art Program and State Street Global Advertisers." I think that this is a nice and fitting tribute to the piece. It embodies what it is there for and what it promotes. Now on a different note, I thought it was necessary to bring to light a particularly interesting piece of work created by none other than Arturo de Modica, the Charging Bull. I think that this piece is of great significance to the Fearless Girl because they only stand a couple feet away from each other. The artist Arturo de Modica thinks that the piece should be removed and that it challenges the true meaning of his piece and demeans its purpose. I, however, disagree. In our world today, we should be able to look at all the different types of artwork and appreciate them in their own way. Just because the two pieces are standing across from each other doesn't mean you can't appreciate them both. The bull standing in its bronze beauty as a symbol of vitality and courage in the workplace, and the Fearless Girl essentially being a symbol to the same, empowerment and courage in the workplace. The Fearless Girl is by no way, shape, or form meant to be there to demean the Charging Bull. They're both there as beautiful displays of public art that are merely placed across from each other. Sarah Weiser's article is incorporated with a statement from the artist of the Fearless Girl, Kristen Visbal. Visbal says, "The artwork isn't meant to alienate, but to accommodate. I made sure to keep her features soft. She's not defiant, she's brave, proud, and strong, not belligerent." So, the artist herself has come out and said that her work has no intention of imposing on the Charging Bull. So maybe Arturo de Modica is just going to have to learn to deal with it because the Fearless Girl is here to stay for a while. When I was looking over the pieces we've discussed throughout the semester, I wanted to find something of structural similarity to my piece. I came across something special in Chapter 9, and that is the equestrian monument of Bartolomeo Collini. The warrior mounted on the horseback is showing great strength and vitality. He is a freestanding sculpture, as is the Fearless Girl, meant to be viewed from a variety of different viewpoints. This piece relates to my piece in the medium used to create it as well. They're both bronze. From the textbook, quote, "The animal's tense, bulging muscles and Collini's twisted pose and scowling face are the very embodiment of aggression. The statue has amazing composition. It is organized with beauty, harmony, balance, and unity. This piece also embodies great determination and perseverance in the expression of Bartolomeo, as it does in the piece I chose. Notice how the entire sculpture is placed on top of a marble stand, to show its grand gesture and its importance. They are both great examples of fine bronze sculpture. The other piece I came across that I thought was quite fascinating was the plaque with warrior in attendance from Chapter 9. I think that this piece has great attention to detail in it. The way the kings look with his beautiful and intricate apron protected by a shield, then his two servants on each side of him. Notice the servants are smaller in size than to the king. This is showing the power and strength he radiates with his tall stature and many pieces of armor in his possession and the servants. Notice this piece was composed of brass, not bronze, even though we know bronze is consisted mainly of brass material. Now look at the flowers and dots embedded in the brass behind the men, showing great attention to detail. From the textbook quote, "Dominating the composition are the warrior's spear, helmet, and shield. The frontal symmetrical composition of the plaque conveys absolute authority, power, and strength. I think that this piece portrays similar viewpoints to mine as the piece conveys power and absolute strength, and it is composed from a similar medium as well. Both of these pieces I have just discussed are both great examples of some other kinds of bronze and brass sculptural work and how they impact us and the society. They all show great strength and empowerment. These pieces are all linked together by their meanings and characteristics, which is why these pieces stuck out to me. I think they are very nice pieces to observe and compare with my own. We look at the Fearless Girl and think, wow, she's a great example of art and how it can influence our self-confidence in life and what we can achieve. She shows great detail and beautiful composition, as does the other pieces. Learning about these different aspects of art and how to apply it to your life is important in this class because this class is about learning how to appreciate all different kinds of art, expanding your knowledge and vocabulary. It's in the name, art appreciation. I think I've done an adequate job at discussing what my piece is, where it came from, and what its significance is. I think it is important to look at all this information and try to take something away from it to better your knowledge on the arts and our society around us that is constantly changing and developing, if anything. Art is what forms human beliefs, opinions, and traditions. It's the foundation of culture. Thank you.